So here we are with jazz legend Joe Sample, and you're a piano player, a composer, arranger, writer, spanning 4, 5, 6 decades maybe. Are you comfortable with that status of legend?
Yes, I am comfortable. I really am comfortable with it because there was a tour that I did, a European tour that I did with Eric Clapton, David Sanborn, Marcus Miller, Steve Gadd, and myself. And I told them that the only way I will do it is just to call that group Legends. and, and then the critics, once we got into Europe and interviews and all that, they would ask me, the writers would then ask me, why are you calling yourself Legends? And I would say, I've already told the guys that I will tell everybody I named the band Legends. Why? Because it just gets right to the point. And you will come here, and you're going to want to come here and ask me why I call ourselves Legends. Because we are. I think about the 1960s. We the Jazz Crusaders. We did our first recording in 1961. We did it for Pacific Jazz Records. It was what was known as a recording audition. Dick Buck gave us an opportunity to go into the recording studio. The deal was Monday on a 3-hour session, union session. You record side A, you come back Wednesday and you record side B. You got 2 takes a song. After the 3rd song that Monday, Dick Buck came in and said, fellas, relax, you are now recording artists. I was 22 years old. I wrote a piece called The Freedom Sound. It was the title of the Jazz Crusaders' first album. The Freedom Sound was released as a single that same year, and it went into the Billboard top 40 pop charts up to number 17. That's when Americans were really hip. You could hear Fats Domino, Miles Davis, country artists on big AM radio station, Basie along with Johnny Cash. The music was good, people loved it. And then as the big business came in and started finding, their niche, they are the heavy rock, the light rock, the easy rock, the this rock, the smooth jazz, the real jazz. It just goes on and on and on. Everybody wants their niche. In Los Angeles in the 1960s, I was also working with the local musicians. I knew the drummers that I wanted to work with. Well, Styx was, of course, in the Crusaders, but there were other gigs. I loved to work with Billy Higgins, the legend. He was in Los Angeles. At that time, he was a junkie, so you didn't know if he was going to show up or not. There was Lawrence Marable, who was an excellent drummer. That was my favorite all-time drummer then was a guy by Donald Bailey. Donald Bailey stopped playing drums and moved to Oakland, California, and he started playing tenor saxophone, and he put the tenor saxophone down and he started playing harmonica. So he's still in the Bay Area performing now as a harmonica player. There was Buddy Rich. There was Shelly Manne. There were very few drummers I wanted to play with. Why? Because they didn't feel good. They just didn't swing. Most musicians can't groove. They don't feel it. Feeling music We got into this thing today with the notes. The tenor saxophone thing. It came from John Coltrane, the thesaurus of scales and melodic patterns. And Chick Corea does it. Chick cannot groove. But he's a great jazz artist because jazz, the people who can control jazz today say that he's a great jazz artist. I don't like scales. I don't mind listening to Chick play some of those scales, but at one point, I'm finished. I can only listen to an Art Tatum record, side A. I never could flip it over and go to side B. It was just all this unbelievable, humongous technical skills. I'm a feeling man. I'm from Southeast Texas. I've noticed there are you can become a really proficient technical musician with a lot of hard work. If you were not born with a groove factor, I don't think you'll ever get it. You can't buy that. You can't train to get that. That's a gift. The real gift of music comes from the heavens. It was given to you when you were born. I listened to some of the rap records over the last 10 years with my wife's relatives, all of the youngsters, and I'll ask them, what is it about this that you like about it? And they say, well, I don't know if I like it yet. I've not seen the video. Or they will say, I don't listen to the words. I listen to the percussion. And I say, yo, you mean the ear candy? All machine initiated rhythm things. There is no groove in it. It's very seldom that I hear a groove anymore. Drummers in the 1980s, I noticed, started imitating a drum machine. I started to hear and I tell guys, go listen to Isaac Hayes. Listen to Isaac Hayes' rhythm section and listen to that Memphis drummer instead of doing tick, tick, tick. Now I can sit up here, tick, 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 tick. I don't feel shit. But when I do, I can't get nobody to play on the saxophone. Get out of here. You cannot play with me if you're gonna come in here tickety talking. You know, I want to hear. Man, I've done these old guys. I used to watch these old Dixieland dudes in LA in the 1960s with all silver hair. They're 80 years old, 90 years old. Work the shit out of a saxophone. They used to bend them things. It was mastery. Well, perhaps it was 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago, where a friend of mine, a Creole guy, Rick Fontenot, a large family of Fontenaus, and Rick Fontenot is a member of the Catholic Church, the Black Catholic Church of the Third Ward, which is St. Mary's. Rick asked me, would I do a benefit show for the kids at the school. They did not have playground material, no seesaws, none of this, no swings, no that. So I organized a jam session that was held in the cafeteria of St. Mary's Catholic Church of the Third Ward. I had a rehearsal with the local guys for an hour, and I had handwritten some charts out, the usual jazz themes, popular themes. The guys came, and I don't know, 600 or 700 people, or maybe even more, showed up, and it was a success. Eventually, they made about $16,000, and with that money, they were able to buy the playground material for the kids. Now, a number of other of the black Catholic churches, including my old parish in the Fifth Ward, our Mother of Mercy, which my parents were founders of that church in 1928. The church is the school is now closed down. Well, about four others of the black Catholic churches and schools asked me, well, if you did a concert to raise money for St. Mary's, when are you going to do one for us? And I said, wait a minute now. You don't understand how this works. I can't come to Houston and do 5 concerts a year. I said, that isn't how this works. Well, why don't we just try to organize where I do one major concert? And everybody agreed, and we always kept the number down to 3. A year ago, I was very happy to give checks to 3 of the black Catholic schools of $20,000 each. So it was a total of $60,000 that we made at that particular Galveston show. The new date is September the 28th. It's going to be on a Saturday night. We will this time around. We will be featuring the Joe Sample Jazz Orchestra, which through the help of Texas Southern University, the president, Dr. Rutley, and Dean Taylor and Dean Ward, they asked me to form a big band. And I was going to call it the Texas Southern Big Band. They said, no, it must be called the Joe Sample Jazz Orchestra. So we are using alumni and also students from Texas Southern. They will perform a work that I wrote for the NDR Big Band of Hamburg, Germany, which is titled Children of the Sun. It was an inspirational thing of mine that began in '95 when I was at the island of St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands. For the first time in my life, I felt what a slave must have felt. And that was when you get when I got at the top of St. Croix, and I did a 360, and I knew that site that I was standing on was where the slaves had processed sugar cane. I all of a sudden did this 360, and I realized there was no underground railroad on those islands. Those people were doomed to do slavery for their entire life. When I got back to Los Angeles, I just kept wondering what spiritual values could a slave had? What drive did a slave had? There was a lot of suicides also. And melodies just began to flow out of me. Eventually, I recorded that concept with the NDR Big Band of Hamburg, Germany. Just completed a tour of Germany in October, November, where I did Children of the Sun, and then Al Jarreau came out and he did selections from Porgy and Bess. So it was a wonderful German tour. Now we have rehearsed Children of the Sun. We have played it twice in Houston, and I want to feature it again September the 28th at the Galveston Opera House. Following the big band, the Jazz Crusaders will take the stage, I'm going to invite the big band back up with the Jazz Crusaders, and we're going to also present or feature. She used to be a young lady like me. We're the same age. Her name is Jewel Brown. We worked the Ebony, the Club Matinee, the Tropicana, the Whispering Pines in Houston in the mid 50s. She's a jazz and blues singer. She's one of the last of a living kind, someone who can really sing the blues. So Jewel Brown will be there. So at the end of the show, that will be the big band, the Jazz Crusaders, and Jewel Brown. And then after we have done all of the familiar work that the Crusaders did and whatever, then we're going to take it back to the Fifth Ward and play we're going to play music. I want the audience to know exactly what the Fifth Ward sounded like in the mid 1950s. So I'm very excited about it. Why is it at the Galveston Opera House? Because I like the way I feel when I'm on that stage at the Galveston Opera House. It's just a 900-seater. I know people say to me, why don't you go down to the Harbor Center and this and that? Well, it ain't easy getting a Saturday night down there. I just love the way the Opera House looks. It reminds me of, I'm sure that the big beginning of blues and jazz was in these surroundings, or these surroundings helped to produce the moods of blues and jazz. So the Galveston Opera House, September the 28th, 8 o'clock. And then there's going to always be an after party somewhere. I earned my first dollar at 15 years old in the Fifth Ward of Houston, Texas, and now I'm making a few more dollars all around the world, every place. A lot of people have seen me playing. At 74, I have no intentions of ever stopping, and I have noticed that I keep getting better with my playing and also with my writing. I was blessed. I am going to play for you now a song of mine that I wrote in 1979, recorded with the Crusaders in 1979 also, and the vocalist was the wonderful Miss Randy Crawford. This is titled Street Life.